We're going to be talking today about the Facebook switch over to timeline for all company pages, which is coming up 2 weeks from today. But before we do that, I'll give you some news from the past couple weeks here. First of all, if you had to not look at the top part of this slide and you just looked at the shot of the screen, you might ask yourself what this was, and you might think, oh, that's Pinterest that we're seeing here. But actually it's an app called Friendsheet that has been developed for Facebook. And Friendsheet is obviously, as you can see here, lays out your Facebook photos in a way that is very similar to Pinterest. It gives much more of a sort of bulletin board kind of display to your Facebook photos, along with people's comments and things like that. And Friendsheet has recently been sort of endorsed by Facebook, if you want to call it that, because Mark Zuckerberg actually went on and liked the application and has started using it for his own personal page. So that's Facebook's way of sort of saying, hey, we really like this app, and really, why do you need to go spending your time on Pinterest anyway? An interesting new application, and something you may want to try out, especially if you like the functionality of Pinterest. Facebook also introduced this new functionality called interest lists, so that you can actually join different kinds of lists based on your interests. So you can see one here that's a recipes interest list, which is going to get you connected to different, as you can see here, Bon Appetit Magazine, Food Network, other places that are likely to be sharing those sorts of things. There was the article that I read about this new functionality was talking about how it's sort of a potentially troubling for Twitter because people tend to connect via interests on Twitter regularly. I think also it strikes out at Pinterest a little bit and its concept of different kinds of boards, because now you have people connecting on Facebook not just through who they know, but also through the kinds of things that they're interested in. And so that'll be an interesting functionality to keep our eye on. Twitter is planning some company page enhancements. A few months ago, they made some changes allowing companies to put a large image at the top of their pages and do things like that. They started unveiling that for large companies. At first, we still haven't seen the capability yet for us, but they're now planning some new enhancements, they say, and some of those things include things like the ability to run promotions and contests through a company Twitter page. There's going to be other customization available. So as details on that come out, it was really at this point just sort of a brief announcement that was made by some people in the know at Twitter. As more details come out, we'll let you know about that, and probably end up with a webinar once that's widely available on how to customize your Twitter page. Pinterest is also planning a new look. We don't know exactly what that's going to be, but just keep your eye out for it. This was something that was mentioned by Pinterest CEO, and so it'll be interesting to see what they come out with, especially because they've been so popular recently, and their look has been popular. It'll be interesting to see what they come out with next. And my one to watch this week is sort of a fun site called getlunched.com. And this is a networking site similar to LinkedIn, but the way that it works is that you can actually buy lunch for somebody. You send people lunch invitations, and you make it clear. I mean, it's clear in that invitation that you're going to be the one paying for it. So it's sort of a way of saying, hey, I want to meet you. I want to network with you. I want to get to know with you. Let's go get lunch together, and it's going to be my treat. So getlunched.com is an interesting way to take the networking of LinkedIn and sort of take it one step further, I'd say, where it's actually facilitating this in-person encounter over a meal. So it'll be an interesting service to watch and see if that takes off and if people use that regularly. So now jumping into the news, the focus on Facebook timeline for company pages. I should have mentioned at the beginning, so I'll mention now that as always with these webinars, if you have any questions as we go along, you can put those into the GoToWebinar control panel that you have there, and I'll respond to those at the end. The sort of brief view of what's happening with this, in case you haven't heard about this, Facebook announced about 2 weeks ago that it was going to be requiring that all company pages switch over to the new timeline look as of March 30th. And so that gave everybody just around a month or so to prepare for this change. So we're helping clients prepare right now. We ourselves are preparing for it as well. But I just want to talk through what some of the differences are as we move to timeline for companies, and some things that you should be thinking about as you do that. So here was the announcement that you can see. This one popped up as I viewed the pivot page one day. It was letting you know that this was going to be happening. And so what it does, I want to sort of walk you through Facebook's preview that it takes you on as it tells you about these new things. So this was now showing me what the pivot page would look like with the new timeline. We have not actually officially switched over yet, though that will be coming soon. But it sort of gives you the preview so that you can walk through the new features. So the cover photo is probably the single biggest change. The cover photo on a timeline is the large photo that appears up at the very top of your Facebook timeline, and I'll show you some great examples of those in just a few minutes. But this is something where you want to plan carefully for how you how you create that photo, what that photo says about your company. And again, I'll share some thoughts on that in just a little while. But this is, I think, the biggest change to know about as we move into the new timeline. Your profile picture, it talks about adjusting your profile picture because it is now going to be kept to a single square image, and so you want to make sure that your profile picture is something that's going to not only fit within that square but also look good there. And then your top applications and your likes are what are going to show up at the top of your page. It says here that photos are always going to show up in the first spot, but you can change the order of everything else. And so there are some things to know about this. It used to be that you could, if you had some custom Facebook tabs, like a welcome tab or a tab with a special promotion, you could define it within your settings for the page that when people first came to your Facebook page, that would be the tab they would go to. They would go to your welcome tab first, or your promotions tab, or something like that. That is going away with the timeline, at least at this point. At this point, they're saying everyone by default is going to come to your timeline homepage first if they come to your company page at all. And but what they're letting you do though is pins particular applications to the top of your page. So if you have some like a custom contest tab built, you can go ahead and pin that to the top of your page so that it's not the thing that people are going to see when they first come. It's not what they're going to be taken to when they first come to your page, but it will be prominently displayed there as sort of almost like a navigation link. So that's an important change to know. You can review your page timeline, and there are some options to actually customize the way that posts are showing up. So you can make certain posts wider if you want to feature them more, or you can use a pencil to pin it to the top of your page. Pinning it to the top of the page lets it stay up there. I believe the rule is either for a week at the longest, or until you write a new status. So you could always pin something to the top, then write a new status and repin the thing that you pinned to the top if you want to. But that does allow you to have at least some custom content, or maybe a custom message about who you are as a company appearing at the top of your page fairly regularly. So that's a good thing to know about. So Facebook clearly, although they're taking away some functionality around what you're able to show people when they first come, they're also adding in some customization that I think is important. So I mean, they are trying to give companies something even as they take away some other options. Manage everything in one place. There's this new admin panel that they've built, and that if you are an administrator of the page, that appears automatically at the very top of your timeline. I've got another screenshot of that here. So this is what the admin panel for Pivot looks like. So you can see here, some of the sort of recent things that have happened with the site, recent people who have liked the page, recent statistics for how the site is going, that sort of thing, and then easy links over to your insights, which are your analytics for Facebook, and then your messages, which is another new section. And so what Facebook has started to allow, and this was never possible before, is that your customers, anybody who likes you, can now send you a direct message, you the company, a direct message through your company page, and you then can respond to them. So you still can't go and initiate a conversation with one of your likers, but you are able, if they send you a message, to go ahead and respond to that. This is going to be really helpful for customer service on Facebook. If you remember the webinar I did on social media customer service, I talked about how the Home Depot is really great about telling customers to, responding to a customer complaint or comment, and then saying, well, please email me at this specific address for more information, or so I can help you resolve this issue. Now you're going to be able to say to people, please send us a direct message through this company page, and we'll respond to it that way. So they don't even have to leave Facebook and go back to their own email program in order to talk with you about whatever their concern or their complaint is. So that's going to be a really helpful tool for companies. And cool examples of what companies are doing so far with their Facebook pages. The nice thing about Timeline, I think, is that it really doesn't require you. I mean, I'm going to show you, some of the bigger companies out there, but it doesn't. A cool timeline does not at all depend on you being a company that has, a huge budget to spend, because every company, gets the same sort of options. Everybody has the chance to make a cover photo. Everyone has the chance to sort of pin something at the top, and so it's, I think it really is in some ways leveling the field of how company pages will look. So I'm going to show you some examples, and bear in mind that these are things that you might be able to do yourself. So here's Coke. Sorry, it's a little bit blurry just because of the resolution, but you can see they've got a great set of pictures here that are really sort of emphasizing the lifestyle, the fun that you have with Coke, that sort of thing. Obviously, it's very much branded to their look and feel. You can see also one thing that you're able to do now with the timeline. One thing Timeline just lets users do in general is very easily go back through years and see information and posts from way back when. Well, what you're able to do as a company is actually go back to before Facebook started and fill in some of your company history. It sounds like they limit the company history to anything 1800 or more recent. So some companies are complaining about that because they're older than 1800, but most of us aren't. So you can see here along the side, you have Coke history going back in various years. The latest one we can see there is 1961, but it goes back even farther than that. Again, they've got the good image, the good cover image, and the good profile image as well. And then they've pinned some of their applications that they like here along the top. So this is what I talked about with sort of where you can somewhat customize this navigation. First of all, they've left photos because photos has to always be there, the first one. But their likes, so they're prominently shown in that one. Hey, look, we have 40 million people almost who are liking us. and then some of their other applications with their home page, Scores, which is one of their promotions that they have. So just a really nicely done page, and they've just done a good job of making sure that all the information you need is right here at the top.